So how free-to-play friendly is Wuthering Waves? Is it going to require you to be pulling for those 5-star units in the gacha for the juggle physics? And yes, I meant juggle, not jiggle. Get Tao Chi off your brain. That's not what we're focused on in this video. But nonetheless, again, there's a lot of freebies that the game gives us. And of course, there are going to be those limited banners that come up that you are more than likely going to want to pull on. So what exactly is the emphasized thing here? And I will say within this video, I'm going to give you guys the answer to that, and as well as my advice, what I feel like a lot of players are going to probably more than likely want to do for the official release of the game. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. Now, first things first, is the game free to play friendly? I will say for me personally, I've put in about anywhere from about 150 to 170 hours into the game so far. And we're currently on, I think, if I'm not mistaken, day 17 of the beta. Now, with that being said, this is definitely a huge amount and chunk of time. And I've been extremely unlucky. I have not gotten much. I literally have pulled the 2 5-stars outside of the recent banner that just came out for Yinlin, and I'm going to kind of explain that in a second. But I basically pulled 2 copies of Arena, who I actually chose to not use. For me, I kind of go in like, hey, no heals, we ballin', you know, like that's just how I kind of play, and that's my play style. Now, up until recently, which is day 16, I actually pulled Yinlin, but I haven't actually used her to first time clear any content in the game. So far, every piece of content that I've actually cleared in the game has been with either MC, Tao Chi, or I've been using Yang Yang. Those have been the main 3 characters that I've actually utilized to get through a vast majority of the game. And that speaks like significant volumes because, for one of the characters, which is MC, they actually give you a lot of the resources required to full send this character. And one of the things that I had mentioned when I had reviewed the video that Staparu made, which was basically debunking the fact that you are going to need certain stat requirements. He was using Donjin. And I got the argument, well, oh, it's because he has Donjin and she gets ridiculous when she has dupes. But I don't think people actually understand how ridiculous MC gets with dupes, and the dupes for MC are given for free. So there's just so much that I'm really appreciating with how they're going about the game. And they're really setting it up to be a situation where players are going to feel like they want to spend versus feeling like they have to spend. Now, of course, Yang Yang, another featured unit that you get in the very beginning of the game. Excellent AoE control unit, and she does her job just fine. And even when we're looking at direct comparisons like Jian banner, for example, I mean, technically, yes, Jian is a little bit more ooga booga. Okay, I mean, that's just the fact, but you don't necessarily have to have Jian in order to, say, do an AoE job, right? He makes it easier, sure, but I definitely would say with a little bit of elbow grease, if you're willing to put in that effort and manually play and just kind of be a little bit more attentive of your positioning, which I actually kind of find to be more fun, you're good, right? Now, of course, with that, there are going to be, and there is going to be that argument of whether or not you pull or get certain 4-stars, but there's even something I want to emphasize there. Before we get into anything else, I actually want to take a quick look at a video from Rexlin. Now, Rexlin actually made a video getting into beating Hologram Heron 6 with free-to-play units and 4-star gear. Okay, now I want to say, for the matter of the fact, before we even get into the video, I already see 2 units that he's using. For argument's sake, Sanhua is easily one of the more harder 4-stars to use in the game. She requires very specific timing when utilizing her kit. And again, in comparison to MC, MC is just very free, has a lot of gap coverages, and is a great unit. So we're going to check this out, see how he's able to complete this, and how effective, these units are when we're looking at damage and stuff like that. So let's get into it. All right, so this is level 6, man. It's crazy. Yeah, so she's hitting like 8Ks right now. Like, my God. All right, let's see MC do some work. MC's right up there, 5Ks. So that's actually pretty solid damage as well. Yo, the dodging he's doing is actually pretty impressive. Ooh. That was nice, 10K. And I want to also mention this too. Guys. We get Sanhua free. Okay, I want to mention that. So yes, you could still get lucky and pull dupes, but she is still another free to play unit. I just want to make that clear because I know somebody's gonna say, well, nope, you get her for free. Stop it. Yeah, it's doing really solid damage. Oh, nice. He got at least one of those hits there. Nice. Get the break. Get the break. Nice. Yes, yeah, that was 7K damage coming from MC, bro. Like, come on. Hailing 260 per, like, I think that's like every second after the ult. Yeah, MC's holding weight, like respectively. Woo, that was a 20K-er? My God. Yeah, Sanhua is OP. 10K? Yo, the damage ramp that's happening right now is kind of nuts. That freeze is so OP. Nice on the dodge there. Parry, nice. Yeah, this is GG. This is beating the crap out of this crap. Yo, he's going ham with Sanhua right now. That was a really hard move. That's a hard move to dodge. You can almost tell. Boom. 11K. I think every hit I've seen so far, he's actually hitting harder every hit. Alright, let's see. Boom. Nice. With a minute left on the clock, you can actually tell Rex is actually trying. He's sweating this right now. He's really trying. No way. This ain't easy mode. Promise you. Oof, down to the wire. Parry, nice. Reposition himself. You'll notice that in certain parts of this, he's repositioning himself to hit that. Woo. Beautiful damage, man. Parry, nice. This is close. This is very close. Okay. Oh yeah, that's GG. Here we go. Yeah, I know he was sweating. I know he was sweating for that. I know he was sweating. 10 seconds left is crazy. 10 seconds left is crazy. That was really good, though. That was really, really freaking good. All right, so with that, right, that's Heron 6. That is what we currently know to be one of the hardest pieces of content. I showed you one from Staparu. I'm showing you one from Rexland. I'm almost inching close to level 40, so I'm probably going to end up trying some of these myself once I get units further built. But again, this is emphasized with units that are 4 stars. I have not seen this done with any 5 stars yet, mind you, right? Like, I just want to emphasize that. So does that mean that they're not capable? No, it means they are capable, but it's not being required. And this is what's being done in a little over 2 weeks. Right? Like kind of thinking about that, guys. Day 17, this is already the content that they've at least presented to be what endgame is. We're not even, again, it's not even set in stone that this is the only stages we're going to have. They very well could see this and say, you know what, we need to make sure there's more stages for the release. And so that's another thing that comes from the CBT as well. Now let's actually jump into stats and stuff like that, because I know that somebody's going to bring that up. Oh, what was his gear? Let's actually take a look. Point in case, the man is running literally a Sanhua with 30% crit rate, 1.4k attack, 171% crit damage. This is achievable. I've had people trying to argue with me on the last video that I did for Staparu that these stats, oh, it's because Sanhua has all the scaling. Bro, these are, it doesn't even matter what the character's kit does necessarily. These are still stats that are going to be very realistic to what the average person is going to have. You're not going to see people right off rip with 50, 60, 70% crit rate unless they got really lucky. You're not going to be seeing people with 2K, 3K attack. Like, there's just not going to be the case right off rip. And it's not actually required yet, at least at this point. Does it mean, like, again, like I keep emphasizing, it does not mean I'm against the idea of making things better, but it also is showing that it is the way they've designed the game, it's not pushing that narrative that you have to have 100% crit rate. You have to have, 300% crit damage. And it's kind of nice that this is how the game should be started. I feel like this should be how it's starting for early game progression. Like, there's no reason to have that being the way the game needs to be in, the first 2 weeks, like this for the first month, even I would argue, even after that, like it just needs to be easier for people to get acclimated into the game. So let's see some of the other stuff. We'll let them play through it. So weapon level 70. This is a lunar cutter, 25% attack coming from the sword. Let's see the echoes. So he's getting 27% crit rate from the echoes, 21% crit damage from the echoes as well. So, I mean, that's just is what it is. Let's see the actual stats. So overall, this one right here, crit rate percent on this first one, plus 25, got pretty decent stats. Resonant liberation damage, energy regen, attack percent, heavy attack damage bonus, all really valuable stats. So it's a pretty good piece. This one, glacial damage, really nice. Overall, again, still really solid. Even with the flat attack, it's still attack. So this is actually a pretty solid piece. Then I think the next one after that, he kind of breezed by it. This piece is not that great for her, but it's enough to get the job done. I mean, HP defense. I mean, not that you really need that. You don't really need the flat HP either. Basic attack damage bonus, great. Heavy attack damage bonus, great. So like, this is one of those pieces that's just kind of like, but it still works for what it's worth. Like, right? Like, I think the piece right before that, let me see. I think he clicks it real fast. There we go. Okay. So this piece right here, glacial damage, another piece that's kind of like, hey, it's all right. Like, right. Like, you have the glacial damage, which is great. Energy regen, which is great. Crit damage, if you can get the crits, great. And then the basic damage, which is nice. And that being at 21% is actually kind of crazy. Anyway, I think that's actually one of the higher rolls, if I'm not mistaken. So he got really lucky on that one. Then we went over that one. Let's see what the last one was. Yo, Rex, why are you moving so fast? I'm trying to see the stats. All right, so last one, crit rate percent, attack percent, flat defense. Again, this is attack percent, heavy attack damage bonus. That's, I think that actually is a lower roll. And then flat attack, which you can make use of, but I think that's still low flat attack roll. So nonetheless, though, solid stats. These are what I would actually consider seem to be somewhat average. Like, these aren't like the best stats you could possibly get on a character, like especially so early in the game. So let's see the next character. All right, so we got energy regen on the MC, which is important because remember the MC has the ability to be able to heal. So if you have energy going into your ult, to your Resonance Liberation, Resonance Skill, you're going to be able to pop those bad boys more often. If you are dealing with things getting hit, that's going to be more beneficial. So yeah, ult popping with the MC is actually pretty big. All right, so what we're dealing with, and I forgot to actually look at the overall stats and talk about that real quick. So MC has 34% crit rate, 183% crit damage, 177% energy regen, and 1.2k defense. So 200 attack less, like 3% more crit rate, and like 10% more crit damage. Like the energy regen is really the biggest thing here. That's like super different. All right, so let's see the Echo stats. Crit rate looks like crit rate percent, attack percent, crit damage. Yeah, this one actually rolled pretty well. this one actually rolled pretty well. Resonance Liberation damage, energy regen, and Resonance Skill damage bonus. That's actually like pretty solid. Not gonna cap. That's actually pretty solid. Let's see the next one. All right, spectral damage, basic attack damage bonus. And the other thing is this also emphasizing what like those elemental damage bonuses are going to be pretty big for your character's damage. They all do elemental damage, right? So basic attack damage bonus, crit damage, energy regen, and heavy attack damage. The only stat here that kind of is like HP flat. And I mean, hey, you can keep that. That's like, honestly, this is still a really good piece. This one right here is, it's okay. Like this is a decent piece because of the main stat. Resonance Liberation, crit damage is fine. Attack percent, I think, is a low roll. And then the defense flat and defense percent is like, no, you don't really care about that. But I mean, hey, overall, you're still getting stats that you can use. Same thing with this piece, attack percent here, energy regen, basic damage, resonance skill damage. You got crit rate percent. That's actually a pretty decent roll. So again, not too bad. And then this piece was actually pretty solid. 2 flat stats, I mean, you kind of don't want, but you got to make do with what you got. And that's just the whole point of this. Like, it's work. It works. Now, the other thing, too, that I want to also emphasize here is that he has none of the top row even leveled for skill ups for the MC. But basically, all of the second rows done up to level 5, which just is achievable, quite free to play. Like, I even have mine I have my characters at level 6. So, yeah, like that's just like, that's pretty achievable. Yeah, Sanhua, same thing, level 5 with a level 4 intro skill. Like, it's all achievable. These are all achievable. Let's see how many dupes she has. She has 1 dupe. So I'm just gonna say she was hitting pretty hard. And if I recall, I'm almost certain that she was hitting harder than what Donjin was hitting. She was hitting like I think critting like 20 Ks. So I think if I'm not mistaken, she might have. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she might have actually been hitting harder. And then, of course, you have 4 dupes into MC, which, by the way, you get for free. So, again, guys, this further proves my point of what I've been saying from the very beginning, that the game 100% can be played for, at least for what we know, it can be played free to play. Now, I would even argue one of the things that I'm not even doing, I'm not even using 4-star gear. I'm using 3-star gear on my units. So I can only imagine how much better they'll be performing. And I've actually been able to clear some content quite significantly considering I'm using 3-star gear on my characters right now, let alone some of those that are, like, for example, in this showcase are utilizing the 4-star gear. But again, guys, this goes into that entire concept of what I advise for players to be doing as we push closer to the release of the game. And one of the things that I will say, and by the way, shout out to Rexlent. Make sure you guys go show that video some love. I will have it linked down below. I want to make sure I put that in there before I continue. But as far as my advice for those of you guys that are going to be picking up the game, the thing that I will say is probably going to be, in just all respectiveness, the best thing you can do. It is going to be to save your currency. And hear me out, because for every limited unit that comes out, there's going to be the limited unit and then the weapon banner. We all know that you are guaranteed after a certain amount of pulls that you get the character's weapon. But you're going to have to deal with the fact that you're going to be trying to get the limited unit, right? So there's a 50-50 and you could lose that 50-50, right? So the thing is that I think it would be more optimal for a lot of people to actually save for the respective character and character weapon that they really, really want on their account to synergize with what they are currently using from the free-to-play units. So it's going to be really important to pay attention to what the new units or the limited units are coming into the game with, because with what they have in their kits, you might decide to pick up, like, for example, if I'm not mistaken, I think Yinlin actually boosts like electric damage. So like, if you're saying you're using like Yuan Wu and someone else, she actually might be good to summon to utilize with those units so that you can get more coming out of those units in that comp, right? And so the same thing with like Jian. I think like Alto boosts wind damage. So if you're looking to have him be boosted and do more things, then it might be worthwhile pulling him for that, right? But I don't think it's mandatory for you to be able to or need to summon these characters. I think that this is actually putting us in what I would consider to be a more optimal position, which is being able to actually decide and summon things because we like them, not so much because we have to have them. Now, are there going to be things that come up that are going to emphasize that you might need another attribute? Yes, there is attribute specific content, but the free units that they give, which mind you guys, these aren't even showing the units at level like 90, which is max. These are at level 70 and they're already beating what we would consider in-game content. So once we're able to hit Union level 50, Union level 60, we're going to have so much more power scaling coming out of our units, being able to have skills at level 10. Like, so we haven't even seen the full potential of 4 stars yet, and they're already performing exceedingly above what even the expectations probably were for most people. So I really would say the best thing you can do, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people actually ended up skipping Jian and Yinlin's banner. Granted, do I think that everyone's going to do that? Absolutely not. There's people that's going to spend. I myself am going to probably have a copy of them because of comps and synergies and just being able to test things out to make content for you guys. But I will say, if you're one of those free-to-play players, you're not focused on having every single unit, but really just enjoying the game and having the things that you want to, like, honestly experience the game with, that's one of the first things that I will say that this game is giving, is that opportunity. I have not seen that in a lot of games that are of this open world style. And I'm for it. I honestly am 100% for it. And I think that this is a great thing. I'm really, really happy to see this. Again, nonetheless, though, I will say I'm always open to hearing you guys' feedback. I think that it is important to also keep it in the back of our mind that this is the closed beta. So we could very well be seeing much harder content coming into the game. And we have to just be not naive to that, right? This, of course, could just be the initial testing or just the initial top layer to what we could be potentially seeing. But nonetheless, this 100% proves the fact that the game is free to play. You really, honestly, I mean, if we're being real here, you don't necessarily have to emphasize the gacha. But of course, as a game that has a gacha, for those that want to experience the gacha, that is still a very, very important part to the game. And I completely get it, right? Like, it just is what it is. But that's basically going to be that with this one. I'm intrigued to hear you guys' feedback and what you honestly think about everything that I just kind of went through. Again, we are going to be live streaming. I'm actually going to be switching up the live streams, guys. We're going to be streaming exclusively on Twitch. I'm going to be trying to just keep all my uploads on YouTube, just so you guys are getting the upload pings, live streams, everything. Like, if you guys are on YouTube, we're transitioning completely over to Twitch. That's where we're going to be streaming at 1,000% of the time. And that's just so that I can also make sure I'm managing my internet, because my internet be tripping out sometimes. And the way that this beta is set up, I want to make sure that there's a much smoother experience for the live streams. So I will be actually live streaming at some point today, depending on when this video drops. I'm not sure if it's going to be today or tomorrow, but I will be actually live streaming for a little bit, just so you guys can get your fix of Wuthering Waves. But let me know how you guys feel in the comment section down below. Everyone, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.